there, YouTube. Corn Cob Piper coming at you. It is Thursday afternoon. Just got home from picking the kids up from school. Enjoying some Suge Winner's Embrace in my Pipe Master Poker. Go ahead and set this down. Today's video is a VR to the Bean Piper. So he just did his 100 sub giveaway. He had a grand prize winner who was Ben, the Unicorn Piper. Congratulations once again, Ben. But he decided to do a runner-up as well and made everybody that entered a VR for his 100 sub giveaway a winner. Was gracious enough to send me some of his espresso. This is from Numa Coffee. Most delicious coffee you'll ever try, guys. As always, I'll put the link down to Numa Coffee below. Go ahead and order you some up. Do yourself and your taste buds a favor. I'm not really sure how to pronounce the name of this. Maybe Kairos or Kairos Espresso. And I had mentioned that I do a VR for him on how I make Cuban style coffee out of espresso. And I was taught how to make this by a Cuban, someone that grew up in Cuba. He's a friend of mine. I worked with him for a while a few years ago, and he brought in some coffee, which was delicious, and eventually got around to showing me how it's made. So let me go ahead and readjust my camera angle and everything, and I'll show you how I make Cuban style coffee. Okay, so I'm back, and what you're going to need from this is I have well water here, so I recommend either using filtered or this here is distilled water. You're going to need obviously one of these stovetop Cuban coffee makers. And then obviously some coffee with a express grind to it. And then I use these little coffee mugs. These are specifically designed for Cuban coffee. That's about the size of the serving that you want. And then also, I hate to go off camera here, but I forgot to grab a couple things. You are going to need some kind of a glass container. I just use the measuring cup, and then some regular old white table sugar. I'm going to go ahead now and turn the stove on high and get that going. Move some of this stuff out of the way here for you. It's kind of hard for me to watch this camera like upside down like this, but I'll do my best. So basically this is a 3-part system here. You unscrew the bottom. This is the water reservoir. You have a reservoir that goes inside with a screen in it for the coffee grounds, and then the tube goes down into the water. And then real important, when you are filling this, and hopefully I can get this on camera, you'll see that there's a little knob in there. That's a pressure release knob. You want to fill your water up right to the bottom of that. Make sure you do not go over it. That's going to keep this thing from exploding. If you put too much water in there, it could become a big-time hazard. So make sure you fill the water line up right to the bottom of that knob. I get about 2 cups out of one of these, 2 of these little Cuban cups. I'm going to go ahead and fill this up to the knob. That's done. Next thing here, I hope you can see this. You got to pack this real and tight. So if you have a nice espresso maker and you have one of those tamper things, you know, you can go ahead and use that and tamp this in. What I do is I take this, I put it upside down. If you don't have a jar, take your coffee, put it into some kind of bowl or something, and then just I push down and pack it as tight as I can, like such. And then I just take the little bit of coffee that's on the side, brush it off, and see how tight that's packed in there. As tight as I could get it. The tighter you pack the coffee, the stronger the espresso is going to be. And as we all know, espresso or Cuban coffee is meant to be drank super strong and super sweet. So then it's just a matter of screwing the top on. And you want to screw this on as tight as possible so you don't get any leaks. Down there. Now, traditional Cuban coffee is meant to be drank strong and sweet, like I mentioned. So basically, for each one of these cups, you want to put in 1 teaspoon and a half, or a quarter. So basically I do 2 and then another half in. We go over now. I don't know why I'm grabbing the sugar. I meant to grab the coffee. Go over to the stove, which is heating up. Go ahead and put this on the burner and lift the top. Now what we're waiting for is for when the coffee first starts coming out of here. That's what's going to be this most potent, and that's what we're going to use to mix with the sugar. Put some air in it to make the froth, which is the most important part of Cuban coffee, is that froth. So I'll go ahead and stop. Well, actually, we should probably watch this for when it comes out. Let me, hopefully you can see. I got the camera here at a weird angle. There we go. So this shouldn't take long for this to initially heat up, and what we want is that initial coffee just to reach the top of this. Hopefully I can do some editing skills on this video so you don't have to sit here and listen to me ramble while the coffee, you know, percolates and starts coming out through the top there. But I'll just talk a little bit about Numa coffee. So what I've tried so far is the espresso now, and then also this one here, which is the Papua New Guinea. Love that Papua New Guinea stuff. That is, I can't even begin to describe the taste of it. I've never had a coffee that's tasted so good. The Papua New Guinea coffee gives a very, very nutty flavor off to it. Just delicious. And then with this espresso, what I get, I see some steam, so it should be coming out here soon. The espresso, what I get is definitely a lot of cocoa notes. So definitely very, very rich and chocolatey, and then obviously mixed with the sugar, it becomes just frothy and delicious. So hopefully, guys, any second here we're going to be getting some coffee coming out. As a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and pause this now. As soon as it starts coming out, I'll turn this back on. Alright, guys, so we have lift off here. The coffee's just starting to come out. You want to grab this off the stove. As soon as you see it start coming out, shut the lid. Into the cup goes a quarter size dollop of the coffee. That coffee goes now back onto the stove to finish brewing. Go ahead and readjust the camera here. Basically what you want to do now is just whisk the crap out of the sugar and the coffee. What you're doing here is pushing air into the sugar, and this is going to give you that nice froth. And you'll see the sugar start to change color. You really want this to lighten up quite a bit and start turning almost like a camel brown color. Definitely lots of whiteness. You can hear the coffee in the background. Finishing off, I will continue to go at this sugar for maybe a full minute or so while the coffee is finishing up. You really, really want to try to push as much air as this as possible. You can see there now that the color, how it's lightening up quite a bit. That's really the color that you're looking for. Make sure you're still in view. Yep. So just keep going until I hear that hissing in the background stop. That's when I know the coffee is done. Get a little bit of workout on this with the sugar. Okay, so got plenty of air in there now. I leave the spoon in because it's got some residue left over. Let me go ahead and check this coffee to see if it is done. Looks like it is still coming out, almost done. You want to make sure that while you're making this, you leave your stove on high the whole time. And once it starts coming out, it's only maybe about a minute and a half till your little pot is brewed. I can hear the steam slowing down, which means it is done. So let me grab this. So now what we want to do is right into the measuring cup. I go right over top of the spoon. We're building up that nice froth in there. Pour it all out. Give it a little bit of mix. Get the rest of that sugar out of the bottom. So let me get this camera over here. So there is the froth made from the sugar and the air that you're looking for. If you don't like sweet coffee, you're definitely going to not like Cuban coffee. It definitely is sweet. We'll go into the cup. Make sure to get some of that froth in there, right up to the top. And there we go. That is a Cuban style coffee made on with a stovetop Cuban coffee maker. So let me get this readjusted here. Bean Piper, hope you like watching, man. That's how I do it. Tastes great every time. Like I said, I learned to make this from somebody from Cuba. So I don't think we can probably get more authentic than the way I'm doing it. But if you've got any tips to try something different, maybe make it a little bit more better, definitely let me know. And as always, YouTube, keep on piping.